hallelujah. You were an angel in the shape of my mom. You got to see the person I have become. Spread your wings and I know that when God took you back, He said, hallelujah, you're home.
I've never talked so much.
Ethel kept a garden. Ethel kept a garden of the heart. She planted all the good things that gave life a start. She turned us to the sunshine and encouraged us to dream, fostering and nurturing the seeds of self-esteem. And when the winds and rain came, she protected us enough. But not too much. She knew we'd need to stand up strong and tough. Her constant good example always taught us right from wrong, markers for our pathways to last our whole life long. We are Ethel's garden. We are her legacy. And I hope today she feels the love reflected back from us. Good afternoon to you all, family and friends of Ethel Florence Nalder, or Mum, or Nana, as her dear family knew her by. The poem, just a perfect way to commence to celebrate a very dear wife, mum, Nana, sister, aunt and friend. Very carefully chosen to portray dear Ethel, and the words very fitting indeed. And the song, Supermarket Flowers, just showed this true picture of the mum that Ethel was. I'm sure when you're listening you could imagine the smile on Ethel's face as she felt the pride in her lovely husband and family. I can see that smile in that photo looking out at you all. The family would like this to be a celebration and not a formal service, showing to you all the love that they shared. My name is Cheryl Baines and I'm honoured to be the celebrant today. I didn't know Ethel personally, and it is indeed a privilege to have been invited by the family to share in this celebration with them. Before we start, as I said, and for those that didn't hear before, could you make sure your phones are either in flight mode or off completely, so that poor Richard down the back, who's trying to live stream to everybody through the world, doesn't have conniptions when the connection drops out. If you need the toilets, I think you would have seen them on the way in, and the emergency exits here. And if you didn't sign the visitor's book, please do that before you leave today, because it's so hard for the family to just remember everybody who's been here, and so it's lovely for them to look back on. And thinking of the supermarket flowers, please take a crocus bulb, plant one or two or as many as, just don't take them all because everybody wants some, and plant them in remembrance of Ethel, because that's what the family would love you to do. So this is a time of remembrance, honouring, giving thanks and celebrating. We remember that what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone, it is what is woven into the lives and hearts of others. A very warm welcome, Conrad. Losing your dear Ethel so suddenly will leave a huge gap in your life. How could it not after almost 56 years married? Yes, where has it gone? And a true inspiration to all of us. You've shared with me so many little stories. In fact, I think we could have had 2 or 3 days of stories. There was so much that was shared together. Stories of your life, sneaking out of the YWCA, enjoying your farming life, but mostly your love for each other. And a warm welcome, Christine and Daniel, Andrea and James, Michaela, Alicia, Jessica, Tom and Scarlett. Losing a mum or nana so suddenly is certainly hard to fathom. You'll already be missing the voice at the end of the phone, checking in on you all, or the texts or emails to your grandkids, as Nana made sure that she kept up with technology to stay in touch with you. Christine and Andrea, you shared that your mum was an inspiration to you both, empowering you in her gentle, diplomatic way. I thought that was a lovely way of explaining the true example as a mum. So I'm sure, seeing your families today, that her legacy will live on through you, I'm sure. And the grandchildren, you're going to miss those postcards from Nana. Not sure that Granddad will be quite up to email and text, but
Remember, yeah.
he might learn. But each time you bake a cake or look at the flowers in the gardens you pass, you'll always remember Nana. I've learnt that you had wonderful holidays in the Coromandel, plenty of walks together, lake and beach trips with, of course, the obligatory, knew I'd stumble over that word, ice creams. So treasure those memories and just think of Nana and all those positive things. And welcome to you, Elaine and Graham, Roger and Robin, and all your extended families. At our meeting, I soon learned the closeness you all shared and the love and respect you all had for your dear sister. After losing your brother David at a young age, this is another link in the family chain broken. You'll be thinking of both he and Ethel today. And finally, a very warm welcome to all of you here today and those unable to make it in person and watching via live stream. We're hoping that there'll be people joining us from as far as England, Australia and Dunedin, and no doubt there'll be others too. So welcome to you all as well. Thank you to you all for taking the time to farewell Ethel and show your love to Conrad and the family. I know the family really appreciate you all taking this time to be with them. On a day such as this, we stop for a while and we take time out to be together in remembrance of the very special person Ethel was in all your lives, remembering the love and friendship you feel for her and her family. And this is the time where we share our love and respect with the family in remembrance of Ethel. Her physical presence may have left our world, but her influence endures and her characters and deeds will continue to be enduring influence after you leave here and resume your daily life without her physical presence around you. And there were certainly countless deeds that Ethel did for others. In fact, in Conrad's words, Ethel always put others first, particularly family and friends.
Yeah.
She loved to check in with the girls, not to tell them about us, but to make sure that all was okay in their lives. She quietly got on, got things done, and made sure I did too. But her kindness and generosity was not just for her family. Anyone who met Ethel along the way became a friend, and she was always ready with a helping hand, as I'm sure many of you in this room will agree. Sewing groups benefited from her outstanding seamstress skills. The local garden groups from her very keen green fingers. And of course, I also learned that the butterfly garden in Waihi and the community garden have both been keenly developed by both Conrad and Ethel. And if that wasn't enough to keep them busy, they belonged to the local U3A group. Ethel and Conrad were keen members, keeping educated and mentally stimulated. And as someone said to me, and trying to solve the problems of the world. But of course, there's so much more to Ethel's life. and I can only just touch on a very, very small part of it. So the family are going to share their memories and stories, beginning with Elaine.
Thank you very much.
Don't trip over it. No, don't trip over it. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Elaine, Ethel's big little sister. Ethel was older than me. She was pretty and petite, me not so much. But people often remarked how alike we looked, and I always took that as a compliment. Not sure she felt the same. We had so much in common. 2 wonderful parents, 2 amazing brothers, Roger and the late David, a love of family, outdoors, reading, and so much more. Ethel, David, Roger and me could not have wished for a better sister. For your Conrad, a more wonderful wife. For your girls, a more amazing mother. And for your grandchildren, a fantastic nana. You have been the quiet, loving, constant presence in our lives, gently guiding and supporting us all, putting your own wants and needs to the side to assure that we were looked after. Born in the home of our parents, George and Elizabeth Smith, at 136 Coleman'smore Lane, Woodley, near Reading in Berkshire, on December 12, 1944, Ethel was the third of the couple's 3rd child. David was born in 1941 and Roger in 1943. Just gave away your age, brother, sorry. 7 years later, I arrived. I just gave mine away too. In June 1955, when Ethel was 10, the family immigrated to New Zealand on the sailing ship, not the sailing ship, it wasn't that long ago, sorry, on the passenger cargo vessel, the Rangatani. Whoops, thank you, oh well caught. The journey across the Atlantic through the Panama Canal to the Pacific and on to Wellington was a great adventure, and I believe the beginnings of Ethel's wanderlust for travel. It was an extremely brave move for our parents, who didn't qualify for the £10 POM assisted scheme and sold their house to pay for our fares. When we arrived in New Zealand, the family had no home, Dad had no job, and just £14 cash, plus a series of tea chests containing all our worldly goods. We are forever thankful to Agnes and Walter Pym of Dannevirke, who took us in while Dad looked for work, and to our parents for their courage to begin a new life so distant from what they knew. Our first home in the new land was at Tawaha, a dry stock farm in the Wairarapa near Martinborough, where we all attended school. Later, Dad, who had worked for the electricity department at Murray in England, secured a position at Murray at the new coal-fired station near the Waikato River. Close neighbours there were the Hookers, and they became firm friends, and ironically today Monica was one of those who was catered for our after-match function. She and her brother and sister were lifelong friends of ours too. From there, Ethel attended Pukekohe High School. When she left, Mum and Dad sent her to stay with cousins Betty and Tom in Wellington, where she completed training on the borough's accounting machines, the forerunners of modern computers, which enabled her to secure a position as a teller at the Bank of New Zealand in Auckland. Ethel left home to stay at the YMCA. Initially, not a very happy young woman, she was so homesick. In January 1961, our eldest brother, David, died suddenly. He'd been working on the construction of the pulp and paper mill at Kawerau, and his passing was a terrible blow to us all. But there was bright news on the horizon for Ethel. She had joined with some of her work and YMCA friends a travel club, and it was there that she met her husband-to-be Conrad. The dashing foreman, naval sailor, proposed to Ethel at the top of One Tree Hill, and she said yes. The couple initially lived in Auckland, but Conrad, by then a technician with New Zealand Post and Telegraph Department, gained a position at Cambridge, where they bought a section and built a house. Ethel transferred to the local BNZ, and she and Conrad were to become lifelong friends and future employees of bank manager Morris Darling and his wife Maureen. It was while they were at Cambridge that I began my first job in Tamaranui. Dad had been off work for some time after a heart attack. Thank you. And finances were stretched, so Ethel knew I had a little money behind me. She gave me a blank cheque, telling me to make it out for however much I needed. It was truly a generous offer by a couple who themselves were not well off. I never cashed the cheque, and Conrad just safe, they're not legal tender anymore. From Cambridge, Ethel and Conrad moved south to live in a later Bell block, and during those years Christine and Andrea were born. As was her wont, wherever Ethel was, she made lifelong friends, including Janet and Neville of Dunedin and Lorraine from Blenheim, who I think's here with us today. Wonderful. The Darlings asked Conrad and Ethel to manage their deer farm at Inuera, so the couple embarked on a new career in the fledgling industry, going on to manage a farm at Pies Pa near Tauranga, where they met Phil and Marta Hamilton and their family, forming one of their most treasured friendships. Marta and her daughter Philippa are here with us today. It's so special you're here. From there it was to deer farms at Taupo and Helensville in Northland. Conrad and Ethel shared their love of travel with their girls. When Christine was around 3, they spent a summer in Australia, buying a caravan and a car to tow it and finding work harvesting fruit. With both girls, they spent many holidays travelling and tenting in New Zealand, and the girls well remember the old canvas tent. They also took Andrea to Australia and Rarotonga. Christine feels a bit aggrieved because she only got one overseas trip. First Christine, then Andrea left home to make lives for themselves in the wide world, watched with love, support and sometimes concern by Mum and Dad. From Northland, the now empty nesters moved to the Bay of Plenty, building a home at Katikati, where Ethel's considerable skills as a seamstress came to the fore when she was employed by Penguin Sea and Surf, using heavy industrial machines to sew everything from chili bags big enough to hold a game fish to rubber inflatable boats. I think there's a photo coming up of her in one of those. Wanderlust was not gone, however, and Ethel and Conrad moved to Hokitika, building a house with an overheight garage to accommodate their fifth-wheeler and 4x4 tow vehicle. This was the start of many adventures on the road, including house and farm sitting. And when they were at home, Ethel and Conrad enjoyed exploring the nearby outdoors with the Hokie hikers. Inspired by adventurous cousins and dear friends, Carol and Dennis, they later travelled to Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, Canada and Alaska. 8 or 7 years ago, they moved north again, buying a house at Waihi. In the intervening years, their precious grandchildren, Christine and Danny's Michaela, Alicia and Jessica, and Andrea and James's Tom and Scarlett were born. Being a grandmother was so obviously one of Ethel's great joys and source of pride. A while back they sold their fifth-wheeler, and while COVID put the damper on some of their plans, they nonetheless managed a trip to Great Barrier Island and a few weeks ago to the Raglan Coast in a coach, all adventures they enjoyed. Ethel was never idle. When she wasn't baking, and she was a great cook, she was catching up with family by phone, sewing, embroidering, gardening, preserving fruit and vegetables, reading, and listening to national radio to keep abreast with current affairs. Well-read, intelligent, and with a curious and inquiring mind, Ethel could hold a conversation on almost any subject. Ethel's time at Waihi has been among the happiest in her life. She has loved being closer to her siblings, and she and sister-in-law Robin have formed an even stronger bond, sharing a love of sewing and gardening. Ethel's been a member of the Waihi Sewing Club, making boomerang bags and COVID masks. More recently, she and Conrad had helped establish the butterfly garden on Council Reserve to provide food plants for monarch butterflies and their caterpillars. And she and Conrad enjoyed attending Y3A meetings. Also, she's been a great friend and neighbour to many who have reciprocated her kindness. Here I wish to say to Debbie and John, who until recently were Ethel and Conrad's neighbours and great friends, there when the couple needed them most, thank you. And a very heartfelt and grateful thanks to new neighbour and Lynn, friend, who shares Ethel's middle name we've just discovered, which is pretty special. She came to Conrad's and Ethel's aid on the night she passed. This could not have been easy for you, but it's a comfort to us and our family to know that you were there for them. To Conrad, I know Ethel would want me to say how much she loved you and to thank you for being a loving and loyal husband and her very best friend. Your marriage has been an example of enduring love and devotion. Together you have raised 2 wonderful daughters and been steadfastly there for each other throughout a life filled with joy and sorrows, excitement and adventure. To Christine and Andrea, I know your mum would want me to say how much she loved you and how proud she is of the fine young women you have become and wonderful mothers. And to Danny and James, how much she appreciated your love and how you cherish her girls and grandchildren. To Michaela, Alicia and Jessica, Tom and Scarlett, she adores you all and has been so proud to be part of your young lives and to watch you grow and to the outstanding young people you are. All that Ethel held dear, including integrity, kindness and striving always to be the best you can, she saw in each of you, characteristics that will ensure you are successful in your lives. To Robin, thank you for being a wonderful second sister. Your love, laughter and kindness. To Roger, you're the best big brother sisters could ever wish for. Ethel loved your bear hugs, your wicked humour and willingness to help whenever she needed it. Ethel, you left us too early, but you left us with an overwhelming wealth of love and happy memories and a shining example of a life well lived. We are blessed to have had you in our lives and we love you so much. Thank you.
That was very good. Appreciate that.
Philippa.
Righty-do. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Philippa Hamilton, and I've been given the privilege of speaking today about Auntie Ethel on behalf of the Hamilton family. It's hard to explain how the Hamiltons and Nalders fit together and how important Auntie Ethel is to us, well, to our family. As Elaine mentioned, technically Auntie Ethel is a former neighbour. They moved in down the road from us in Pies Pa in 1980-something. She was also godmother to me and my twin brother Grant, but that doesn't quite sum it up. Auntie Ethel is just Auntie Ethel. She has always been there and has always been in our lives. She's pretty much family in every way other than blood. Auntie is the only word to explain our connection, and she is Auntie Ethel to all of us, not just me and Grant, but Mum, Dad, Angela and Claire. When I started to think about my favourite or earliest memory, the first thing that came to mind, Auntie Ethel's Neenish tarts. If you know, you know. I decided that wouldn't make for much of a speech, so I sent out to the rest of our family on our family messenger group for a call for anyone's fond memories. The first reply that came back, Auntie Ethel's Neenish tarts, followed closely by Auntie Ethel's ice cream, carob chocolate or mint chocolate chip. Then the memory started. The holidays in Taupo, how she was a dab hand on the sewing machine. She made me and Grant little carry cots with a firm base and carry handles to bring us home from hospital when we were first born. She also made us matching dungaree sets in blue and pink. I also remembered the knitted jerseys we were given in Taupo. Mine had penguins around the bottom, blue up the top and little white snowflakes. She has been such a big part of the Hamilton family. Grant remembered that at any family event, wedding, birthday or Hamilton get-together, she would always be up the front to get the best view with a big beaming smile. He noticed it when he was going through old family photos, and there was Auntie Ethel and Uncle Conrad, right in the middle, up front, always spotted up near the action. It's also hard to think of Auntie Ethel and not hear her laugh and giggle. She and Uncle Conrad have been best friends to Mum and Dad, and a great support to Mum after losing Dad. She has always jumped in to help and support us. For us Hamilton kids, she has always kept up to date with what we are doing and where we are in the world. She has always been genuinely interested in what we are doing. The last time I saw her, I excitedly took her a big pile of knitting I had done for a premature baby's knitting charity. She also gave me her latest Auntie Ethel creation, a beautiful carry bag which is now my most current knitting bag. Grant mentioned when he was first moving to the UK, he stopped quickly in Waihi to say goodbye and was presented with a New Zealand beanie, which is still a wardrobe staple for him in London. And he was given a big reassuring hug from Auntie Ethel. He said, "She may have been small, but she gave bloody good hugs." We have many treasured memories of Auntie Ethel, and although we aren't connected through blood, we will miss her dearly in our family. I would like to finish with the last comment that came through on our family group chat. What Auntie Ethel lacked in height, she made up for with her heart.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very good. Yeah.
Wait a little while.
Yeah, I was going to say something, but that was rubbish. Yeah.
Robin. Hold it up nice.
Yeah, I've got a big booming voice, so I don't want to break the microphone. Oh, Ethel was very special. My first encounter with Ethel was when my darling husband first took me up to meet the family. And he kept talking about this person. I thought she was 6 foot tall and built like an Amazon. When I arrived at the door, this dear petite little lady came out and said, "Hi, I'm Ethel." Oh, the relief. Yes, we both owed you that one. And she was growing up with 2 larrikin active brothers, and that wasn't an easy task. It left Ethel with no choice but to develop a clever, active and be an independent person. Ethel was the epitome of the saying, "Size doesn't matter." Mum Smith related a story of one encounter with a boy at Ethel's preschool. Mum had picked her up went to pick her up and found her crying. "That boy over there pushed me over." Oh, Mum said, "Did he do it on purpose?" The tears stopped. She raised herself full height. She looked at Mum and said, "Of course not. He did it on the concrete." Ethel's love, resilience, common sense, tenacity has helped her throughout her life. This she has passed on to her children and grandchildren. What a great legacy to leave behind. We found a little poem the other night, Roger and I, and we just thought that this is, we hope, of some meaning to the family. Her life has just begun. Don't think of her as gone away. Her life has just begun. Life has many facets, the earth only one. Just think of her as resting for the sorrows and the tears, where there's no, from the sorrows and the tears, where there are no more days and years. Think how she must be wishing that we could know today how nothing but our sadness can really pass away. Think of her as living in the hearts of those she touched, for nothing loved is ever lost, and she was loved so much.
Very good. Well
Thank
done,
you.
Robert. Thank you. Yeah, very good. Done a good job. No, it's all right. We all need.
Thanks. I am lucky enough to be one of Nana's 5 grandkids, 4 girls and 1 boy. She was always involved in anything we did and supported and encouraged us all the time. I would often talk to her on the phone and discuss about all the stuff I was up to. She made all kinds of lovely handmade gifts and was super clever with crafts. She was an amazing sewer. Her cooking was always spectacular, and she took very good care in making food we liked. Her gifts were always super thoughtful and generous. She always made sure to get us presents we wanted. When it came to birthdays and Christmas, her dedication was obvious. We had some great holidays with her and Papa in some cool places. The time spent with her was treasured. So on behalf of all the grandkids, I just wanted to say that we'll all miss her dearly.
Thank you. That's great.
Well done. So thank you, everybody who spoke. And it just reinforces all those things that I've heard after meeting the family. So we know that all of you will have your very own special memories, and the family certainly look forward to hearing of these over afternoon tea here with some of the after some of the family have had a quiet time with their mum at the end. When we lose a loved one, a major part of the healing and acceptance is talking about that person and recalling the happy times. So please do stay if you are able. And the family have now prepared a slideshow and for you to quietly reflect on your own memories of Ethel and how she touched your lives. The photos have been chosen specially, and they certainly, I think, will give a further glimpse into Ethel's life.
Bring me sunshine in your smile. Bring me laughter all the while. In this world where we live, there should be more happiness. So much joy you can give to each brand new bright tomorrow. Make me happy through the years. Never bring me any tears. Let your arms be as warm as the sun from up above. Bring me fun, bring me sunshine, bring me love. Bring me sunshine in your smile. Bring me laughter all the while. In this world where we live, there should be more happiness. So much joy you can give to each brand new bright tomorrow. Make me happy through the years. Never bring me any tears. Let your arms be as warm as the sun from up above. Bring me fun, bring me sunshine, bring me
What a wonderful glimpse. Just showing the picture of everything that we've heard today about a wonderful life that Ethel and Conrad have made together. Conrad, Christine, Andrea, and all your extended family, as you grieve the loss of your treasured wife, mum-in-law, Nana, sister, and auntie, please feel the arms of all your family and friends around you, giving you ongoing love and support. Ethel's unfailing love for you all will continue to be an enduring influence after you leave here and resume your daily life without her physical presence around you all. As we celebrate her life here today and say our earthly farewells, you can all take joy in the fact that your Ethel, Mum, Nana, has been, still is, and always will be a part of your lives. We cherish Ethel's love of her family. We are glad that you knew her smile and her kind and compassionate ways. We cherish the memory you have of her voice and her laughter. We cherish the memory of her love of her home, her sewing, her garden. We cherish her sharp mind and willingness to keep up with the times. We cherish her love of people and ability to empower those all around her. Cherish her love of travel and the many special memories her and Conrad made through these adventures. But most of all, we cherish the memory of her presence in your lives. Ethel, you were taken from us too soon, too early. Gone without warning. Not your choice, certainly not ours. Lost to your beautiful life, snatched from love. No time to form a farewell, though, no chance to say goodbye. Like a musical note lifted from a manuscript, your song is unfinished. The family and friends will miss you and will mourn you. And as we prepare to leave this place in the quietness of Ethel's memory, and you turn to live once more without her physical presence, let us go with courage, let us go with grace, and let us go in peace and continue on our own journey of discovery in the world as Ethel would have wanted.
And she would say, don't forget to put the garbage out.
Okay, don't forget to put the garbage out.
Yeah.